Lesson 33. The whole point of Lesson 33 is to stop for a moment and take stock of all the things that we've learned recently. For instance, we've learned the 6 present tense forms of sum. Sum means I am, and that's first person singular. S means you are, and that's second person singular. Est is he, she, or it is, and that's third person singular. Sumus means we are, and that's first person plural. Estis is y'all are, and that's second person plural. And sunt means they are, and that's third person plural. As we have done in the past, let's chant these a few times and see if we can continue to memorize them. Ready? Sum, es, est, sumus, estis, sunt. Sum, es, est, sumus, estis, sunt. Sum, es, est, sumus, estis, sunt. So continue to memorize those verbs. Next we have the chart for specto. Specto means I am watching, and that's first person singular. Spectas means you are watching, and that's second person singular. Spectat is he, she, or it is watching, although we've just used he up to now for simplicity's sake, and that's third person singular. Spectamus is we are watching, and that's first person plural. Spectatus is y'all are watching, and that's second person plural. Spectant is they are watching, and that's third person plural. So just like we did with sum, let's chant the 6 present tense forms of specto. Ready? Specto, spectas, spectat, spectamus, spectatus, spectant. Specto, spectas, spectat, spectamus, spectatus, spectant. Specto, spectas, spectat, spectamus, spectatus, spectant. Now, technically speaking, when a Latin word has 2 syllables, you're supposed to accent the first syllable. So we didn't really pronounce those words technically correct, but we put the emphasis on the endings to help us remember the different verb endings. Okay, let's turn the page now to page 42. Here on page 42, I have provided you with a special chart, and this chart shows us only the endings that we've been using with the verb specto. For instance, in the first person singular, specto ends with the letter O. Spectas ends with the letter S. Spectat ends with the letter T. Spectamus ends with MUS. Spectatus ends with TIS. And spectant ends with NT. And these verb endings are very, very important because you're going to see them for the rest of your entire Latin studies. So it really pays to memorize them. And when I was in high school, we used to chant these endings a lot. So let's do that together now. Let's chant these 6 endings. Just follow along with me. Ready? O, S, T, MUS, TIS, NT. O, S, T, MUS, TIS, NT. O, S, T, MUS, TIS, NT. Okay, keep on chanting all the verbs. Keep chanting sum, keep on chanting specto, and keep on chanting the OST, MUS, TIS, NT. And pretty soon you'll have all those things memorized, and it will be much easier to translate the exercises.